In this video, I'm going to show you how to make changes in the app itself, how to change the logo, how to add different things, etc. Now, first off, you go out to this account, which I will give you all the information of how to get there and how to log in a little later. Did not want to put that on a video. And so you're going to click My Apps, and you have two apps. You have the iOS app, and you have the Android app. So you do have to make the change in both apps. So whatever you do to one, do to the other, so that it can populate everyone's phone, whether it's iOS or whether it's Apple. I'm going to just go ahead and make changes in the hagcm Droid. That's the Android version, and you can see to the right it says for Android, and this one says for iPhone, so you know which one you're working on. It doesn't matter which one you start on. You just, but whatever you do to one, you also must do to the other, so that both platforms are updated. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Droid one, and the first thing is we wanted to add Russian in here. Now, when I put the app together, I actually added a menu that had 5 different languages here, and rather than recreating it, I created a backup copy. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Edit Pages. And I want you to know that tab 1 here, tab 1 is this first thing that you see when you open up the app. And then down here I have tab 1 Original. I'm going to click on that and take a look. Notice it has all the languages already there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a copy of this tab 1 Original, and then I'm going to work on it so that we only have English, Hebrew, and Russian on it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've clicked on tab 1, it's highlighted blue. Up at the top, I have these 4 possibilities. I can add a new page, I can delete a page, I can duplicate the selected page, or I can rename a selected page. In this case, I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call it, just to begin with, I'll just call it Add Russian. And we're going to have to change the name to it again in a minute. You'll see why. I'm going to duplicate that. And this is the Add Russian page. So now I'm going to edit the page. Edit the Add Russian page by clicking the Edit button. And it's taking just a second. Now I can edit. Most of the time the edits are going to happen in Design. See at the top I've got Layout, Design, or HTML. If I wanted to click on HTML, it gives me all of the code, and if you're well versed in HTML, you can just change it right there. I'm going to go to Design and do it the easy way. We do not, right now, we do not want Arabic, so I'm going to click to the right of Arabic and press backspace, and we don't need Amharic, so I'm going to click to the right of Amharic and click backspace, and then I'm going to press the delete key to move that up a little bit. And that's right about what we want, I think. So now I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to click Done. And now this is what we want to be our new front page. So I need it to be named tab 1 because that is the front page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on tab 1, and I'm going to choose Rename, and I'll call it tab 1 Original and rename it. And so I actually called it Original 2 because we have an original, and now we'll have an Original 2. And now Add Russian, I'm going to rename that to tab 1. Now, I could have just went in and added this Russian thing, but it was just simpler. I didn't have to do any code. I didn't have to think about it. I already know that Russian works. I already know it works. So simple. That's all I needed to do to fix up that piece of the puzzle. Now, if I want to change this logo, what I'm going to need to do, let's go into tab 1 and let's edit that. This time let's go into the HTML and let's find out what that is. The image source is highadventureradiologo.png. That is the logo. What I would do, the easiest way to do this is to change the picture itself. And I'm saying that because this logo is on everything, I think. If I click on English, I think it's going to show up. It does show up indeed. And so whatever I click on, any of these pages, this logo is already there. And the logo that's there, let's go back to edit the tab 1, HTML. The logo that's there is called high-adventure-radio-logo.png. You can see it right here. So, because this is on multiple pages, it's going to be easier to upload the new logo and call it high-adventure-radio-logo.png than it is going to be to change it on every single page. So I'm going to click Done, and I'm going to go to the Resource Manager up here. And when I scroll down, I'm going to find high-adventure-radio-logo.png. This is the logo we have right now. What I would do, just for safekeeping, I don't like to delete stuff that I may end up reusing. I'm going to click on that, and I would click Rename. Rename it to whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Put a 2 at the end of it. Then what you're going to do is whatever logo you want to show up there, just drag it from your computer and drop it. Notice this says drag a file over to upload. Drag it over to drop it. Once it's dropped in, click on it, click Rename, and name it high-adventure-radio-logo.png. Now you do have to make sure that the logo you drop in is of the file type .png. Okay, you can't just put a JPEG or a TIFF or something like that in there and rename it and expect it to work right. So it does need to be a PNG format if you're going to do the method that I'm showing you now. Now, I'm going to show you a second way to do it in case you think it's easier that way, and that'll be fine, is you can go in to each one of these. You go to the Resource Manager and upload, and then each one of these where it says source, just highlight that and change it to the name of the file that you're uploading. But you'll have to do that in every one of these. Okay, every page you'll have to edit and change the name if you do it the second way. One thing you're going to need to consider, I'm going to go back to the Resource Manager here, and I'm going to find that High Adventure Radio logo. I'm going to download it by clicking the download button. And the reason I'm doing that is because you need to open that in some sort of photo manipulation editor. If you're used to Photoshop, that's wonderful. GIMP is a free one, gimp.org. You can download it free for Windows, Mac, or Linux. And when you open it up, you check the size of it. You want to make sure that the logo is the right size, because if you put something in here that's not the right size, then the whole app's going to look all crazy. All right? So that's that part. Now, one last thing we've got to do is we have to make sure in the Resource Manager, over to the right, it says Sync. We have to make sure that that says Sync, that is checked for anything that we change. So for example, we changed tab 1 today, and I've got to be sure that tab 1 is checked. See, it's not checked now. Now that it's checked, tab 1 will update on all Droid phones that have this app. I'm going to close that. I'm going to click Done, and I'm going to go back to My Apps. Now I'm going to go to the iOS app. I'm going to do the exact same thing that we just did. I'm going to go to Edit Pages. I'm going to go down to the tab 1 Original that has all the languages. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it Russian and duplicate. Oops, had a problem there. Russian, new tab. I just had to give it a different name because the file russian.html already exists. And I don't want to write over top of it because that's the file that actually plays our Russian. So Russian, new tab.html, I'm going to edit it. I'm going to click Design. To the right of Arabic, I click, press Delete. To the right of Amharic, click to the right, press Delete. I'm going to press the Delete on the keyboard one more time, and now I have English, Hebrew, and Russian. I'm going to save that. Done. I need to go to Resource Manager. I need to make sure that the new tab 1 is checked where it says to sync it. Define that. And there it is, tab 1, and close. And now I'll click Done. Now, I'll show you one more thing that you probably are going to want to do just for fun before you make changes. There's a Backup This App button. So I'm going to back up this app. I'm going to click OK. And it downloads all of the files. So if things get really goofed up, you can contact me and we'll know that you have this backup, and I can put it all back together for you just like it was before we started. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and go back to My Apps, and I'm going to go to the Droid version, and I'm going to back this app up right now so that I already have a backup before we get started, just in case something goes haywire. Things do go haywire sometimes. They go haywire for me just like they might go haywire for you. So if something happens, just get a hold of me, and I'll make sure we get it all back going the way you need it to be. Right now, I have added Russian, so if you make sure that the app is closed on your iPhone, if that's what you have, or your Android, make sure it's completely closed. When you open it again, when it goes to sync, it should come back up with this tab 1, and when you click on Russian, it should start playing. I'm seeing it not playing, so there's probably something on the website I've got to fix, and I will do that.